loves, welcome back to another video and happy new year. I know that when I filmed my last video I wasn't sure when it was going to go up, but it ended up going up, I'm pretty sure before New Year, so happy new year guys. I hope you had a really good one. I've just got back from holiday and I wanted to make sure that I am keeping up with the YouTube content because that is going to be a big focus of mine. It always is in January at the start of a year when it calms down after Christmas. I'm like, right, I'm going to make a lot of effort to make sure I'm getting as much content out as possible. And yeah, you've probably seen it by the title. This video is going to be what you need to know about Biab. Obviously, if you've watched my videos before, then you will know that all I kind of do now is Biab a lot of the time. I rarely do acrylics anymore, a few kind of acrylic sets and a few gel sets, but mainly the main focus is Biab. And I know it's becoming the same for everybody else, so I basically just wanted to come on and basically go through a few things about Biab that you're going to need to know, especially if you're new with the whole Biab thing, or if you're just looking for a little bit more kind of guidance with it. Then I wanted to basically make this video to kind of give you a little bit of an insight of what you need to know before becoming a Biab nail tech, or whether you're just starting out and you've just kind of come into the Biab world, or to be fair, even if you've been doing Biab for a while, because I know I have, and my techniques and my way of doing things changes all the time because I see things that are floating around on Instagram and stuff, and different tips and stuff, and I try them out, and like I say, the way I do Biab changes all the time because I just find new kind of things that I want to try out, or I see tips from other techs and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll give that a go. So yeah, basically this is for anyone that does Biab, whether you're new or whether you're you've been doing it for a few years like me. Like I say, it's solidly pretty much what I do now, so I've come across quite a few things and made a lot of mistakes, and probably still am, but yeah, we're always learning, so I just wanted to kind of make a video to give you my opinion of stuff that you need to know about it, and yeah, hopefully it helps you guys. So if you haven't already, grab yourself a tea or a coffee or a drink, because we're going to be having a little chatty video. For my choice today, I've got a Tim Hortons, as per usual. I was a Starbucks gal, but I'm now a Tim Hortons gal. If you haven't tried the French vanilla latte from Tim Hortons, what are you doing? Honestly, game changer. I was a Starbucks gal and I rarely go to Starbucks anymore. So yeah, give it a go. So yeah, this is going to be my drink of choice, so make sure you grab one and let's have a sit down chatty video and we will get into it. So like I say, my techniques with Biab changes all the time. A few things when I look back now at how I did sets of Biab makes me cringe to the core, because honestly, I just don't know what I was thinking, because I actually started Biab. It wasn't like when I first started doing nails. It was actually probably a year down the line. So I wasn't new to nails back then, and sometimes I look at my sets and I'm like, gal, what were you doing? So basically, one major things that I never used to do, and I know that some techs still don't and some do, but for me personally, is refining your Biab after application. Now, I know this is quite like I say, some people do, some people don't. Some people think that, as long as you apply it correctly, then you won't need to do any refining. Me personally, I don't have that opinion. I think that even though an application might look perfect, it definitely isn't. As soon as you start putting your file over that Biab, you will find dips and kind of just little things about it that you will want to get rid of. Like I say, there was a lot of the times when I used to look back at my Biab sets, and when I wasn't refining after my application, and it ruins it. Honestly, I don't know why I never did it. I actually went from not refining at all when I first started my Biab kind of journey, not just on myself, but obviously when I was doing it on clients, I wasn't refining, I wasn't doing any kind of cuticle refining, and quite honestly, I don't know why. Maybe it was because I was new to it and I'd never really done it before, but the thing is, we refine acrylic once that's been applied, so I don't know why I didn't just do the same with Biab. But like I say, I didn't do it and now I do, and that is the one thing that I would personally make sure that I do on every single set. Like I say, I know techs out there that have been doing Biab for years and still don't refine. I see videos on it all the time where people just crack on straight with nail art, and I'm just like, how do you do that? I personally couldn't do that now. Yeah, even though a nail might look perfect, as soon as you put your file over that, you will see little dips that you want to get out. And like I say, you will only kind of notice that, like, as soon as you're done and you're done with say for example, if you've got dips in your Biab and you think, oh yeah, it'll be fine, then you start putting gel over the top, the gel is going to go into that dip and it's just not going to look cute, okay? And it can cause like patchiness in your gel as well, and it's just personally what I think we should be doing as like when we're doing Biab. But like I say, everyone's opinion is different, but that is something that I like to make sure that I definitely do, especially with shaping. I actually went for a little dig on my Instagram of when I first started doing Biab, and just having a little look at my sets and just kind of picking out what I didn't like. The fact that I thought these pictures were Instagram worthy is quite awful, but I found this one. Now I'll pop it in the corner, and this one it looks cute, the design is lovely, but as a nail tech looking at that, the shaping is just completely just not cute. I've clearly not refined the shape after I've like done my application, and that to me really shows. So yeah, I don't know whether I can zoom in, but there's a specific nail that I can just tell by looking at it I haven't refined the shape once I've done my application. Like I say, Builder Gel is a thick product, and if that's going to kind of gather anywhere, you will see a side that is quite thicker than the other side. And like I say, that if your application doesn't go to plan and you do have like a little bit of bulk one side, don't worry, because your file will get that. Your file will reshape it and it can look absolutely fine with a bit of filing. So don't stress too much. Now, I know that a lot of techs kind of have the opinion of, oh, well, if you get your application perfect, then, it'll save you filing time. Yeah, that's correct. But don't worry about it too much. If your application, my acrylic application when I first started it was not cute. It really wasn't cute. But with a bit of filing, I know that people say don't like it'll cut down your filing time, and I understand that. And yeah, if you can get your application perfect, then that's amazing. But don't worry, because you have got a plan B. You've got a file there and you can debulk it. Do not stress. So that's not just talking about hand filing. I also, I'd say probably up until about 8 months ago, I was skipping out I will now grab my 5-in-1 drill piece, and I will go around the cuticle with that drill bit, just to make sure that is completely flush to the cuticle and that my structure is 100% perfect. Like I say, I've been doing nails now for, I think it's 2.5 years, and I still have room for improvement. There's nail techs out there that have been doing this for 5, 6, 7 years and still have room for improvement. You will always have room for improvement, and don't beat yourself up if you're looking at your sets and you're not 100% happy with them, because like I say, my technique changes all the time, and this time in probably 2, 3, 4 months time, I probably will have changed my technique again, and I will still be covering all of what I do now, but I will have added little things that I want to make sure that I do on every single set, whether it comes to refining or application or anything like that. There definitely will be something that I will change, because like I say, I pick up on new things all the time, and yeah, I just add it into my my structure. So yeah, that's why I kind of like to come with quite a few Biab videos, because my technique changes all the time. So even though I might post Biab Infill videos, and probably each one is different, because I'll probably do add stuff in, that I didn't really think about in the video previous or stuff like that. So like I say, I kind of try and improve all the time and try and think of new ways to get it absolutely perfect. Never will be perfect, but we like to try. Another thing when it comes to filing and infills, one thing that I try and focus on quite a lot now is to make sure that you are taking quite a lot of the product down. When a client comes in for an infill, I obviously take all of the gel, the top coat or any nail art or any gel over the top of the Biab, but I like to make sure I'm taking a good amount of that Biab off from the last time, get it down to a very thin layer, because each time that a client comes back for an infill, even though you're putting the product on like the grown out area, there is an extra layer of the product going onto obviously the previous product. You don't want that building up. I've got another picture that I want to show you from my Instagram. I think these pictures were August 2021, if I remember rightly. So just over a year ago. And I can see, obviously I had a look on my Instagram and I basically was picking out things that I wasn't happy with and that I wanted to show you guys as kind of like a thing to need to know for the future. Because it's stuff that I've learned from my mistakes, and obviously, hopefully, it can kind of stop you from making the same mistakes. So basically, when I was infilling Biab previously, I would just take off the top layer and then infill, and then obviously go from there. But what you want to be focusing on is taking as much product down as you can, because you don't want that product building up and getting a really, really thick amount of product on the nail, because obviously Biab you can infill a lot more than acrylic, so you don't want to be building up all that product on the nail and then becoming really thick, because that is something that I will admit that I kind of struggled with, and yeah, you want to be focusing on getting as much product off, so then when you're infilling, you're having the same amount of product, but obviously you've infilled it, but there's still the same amount of product on there because you've taken quite a bit off from the previous set. So what I'll do is I'll pop a little picture in the corner of a set that I did in, like I say, August 2021, and I still love the set. They're micro Frenchies, which obviously I love, but you will notice on the thumb, so it's obviously a side profile, you'll see that there's a thin amount of builder towards like the cuticle, but then you'll see as it starts to get to the end, the thickness is there. Like you can see that it's quite thick towards the end, and yeah, that is because I haven't taken enough builder off on the previous infill. So that is something that you really want to be keeping an eye on, and plus just having a lot of products on there, 1, doesn't look nice, 2, won't feel nice for the client, and 3, will be a pain when you want to soak that off as well. So yeah, just keep an eye on that and make sure you're taking plenty of product off on each infill. Now, the next thing that I want to cover is colours. So whether you are not too sure if you're new to Biab or whether you're not, you may be aware that there are quite a few more colour options now coming into, obviously as it becomes more popular. I know the gel bottle have started doing it, so they're introducing more colours to their Biab range. So obviously because Biab is becoming a lot more popular, so what they've done is started to bring a lot more colours into their Biab range, and basically they have introduced like purples, pinks, I think they've just kind of stuck to those kind of colours for now, kind of like more vibrant pinks rather than nudes, and some purples and stuff like that, just trying to introduce some new colours. Now for me personally, I've never tried I haven't bought any of those yet, but one thing that I did notice is that a lot of the time, because I follow quite a few nail techs on Instagram, you will see quite a lot of discounted sets using those colours. You'll also see quite a few of those colours being sold. And for me, that kind of shows that they haven't been too popular. Now, the beauty of Biab is the fact that it's a nice strong base, and then you can use any gel colour over the top. When it comes to infilling that Biab, you can file off the gel colour, infill the Biab. You can either have the base as it is, so like a nice nude colour for like a French, or just on its own if you wanting something quite natural, or you can put any gel colour over the top. Now, obviously, if you were to use a coloured Biab, say for example you had a purple Biab and you came to infill it the next time, you have to infill it with the same colour. So it kind of takes away from the beauty of it with the fact that you can have it as the base and then just use like a gel colour over the top. that's one thing I didn't like about coloured acrylic. When I was kind of into the acrylic sets, I didn't really like coloured acrylic that much, because when you come to infill it, you either have to have the same colour, or you have to be careful about what colours you pick in to go over the top, because it'd have to be darker or stuff like that. Me personally, I didn't really like coloured acrylic for that reason, and hence why I didn't do it with the Biab either. Is because I thought that would just kind of complicate things. Obviously, it's not very often that people want the same colour. Obviously, I think there are not quite a few, there are a couple nail techs that I know that take the Biab off every single time. There's not really that many people that I know that do that. So yeah, I haven't really tried that, and I don't think I'm going to. I'd rather just kind of widen my nude ranges, so kind of like just have a few more nudes, pinks. There is a milky Biab that I've seen that looks quite nice that I'd probably like to try. But yeah, the coloured ones I've just never really been too crazy about. And like I say, you see a lot of nail techs offering them at a discounted rate, which suggests to me that they haven't been used that much and they're kind of trying to get rid of it. And like I say, a lot of them for sale as well, which also suggests to me that they aren't quite a popular pick for their clients. So that's one thing that I personally wouldn't invest too much time and money into. I think I'm just going to stick with, like the nice nudes that I have. A lot of the time people just go for the same colour, and like I say, they just switch it up, either have a gel colour over the top or have a design or a French. So yeah, that's one thing that I wouldn't, if you're new to it, don't feel like you have to get loads of different colours Biab, because you really don't. Plus Biab is expensive. You don't want to be, just throwing yourself in at the deep end, buying all of these different coloured Biabs when you don't really need them. And you might just end up selling them or offering them at a discounted rate, which nobody wants. So yeah, that's another thing that I would just take note, especially if you are new to it and obviously buying from scratch. Just buy, some staple ones, some nudes, and some pinks, and you'll be absolutely fine. I've been doing Biab for, like I say, years, and I think I still have about 5 staple ones, and that's it, and that's all that I have really needed. I mean, like I say, I will be adding into that, as the months go on, and I will try different ones, but they will only really be kind of like natural ones, if that makes sense. Again, I've mentioned this in quite a few videos, is to not just, when you're starting out, not to just buy a load of stuff and hope for the best. Buy it in little bits and see what's popular, and then go from there. Don't just kind of buy for the sake of it. See what your clients like and see what they need, and yeah, just go from there, because it'll save you some money. Now, the last thing that I want to cover is the importance of having a system in place. So for example, whatever Biabs you're buying, you will need the same lamp of what the brand is. This has been something that is only recently become sort of like highlighted, because the problem is with Biabs is that sometimes they can, people can get reactions from them, and basically it is due to the ingredients in it, and you want to be making sure that it is set 100%, because if there's any uncured Biab, you may find issues with allergies. Obviously I use the gel bottle, I have the gel bottle lamp, and like I say, it's been only highlighted most recently for me, is that it is important to have the same system in place, so you're using the same product. So the gel bottle lamp to the gel bottle Biabs, obviously Glossify lamp to Glossify Biabs. You want to be making sure that it's cured exactly how it needs to be, because you don't want to be opening up any issues to any allergies or anything. Another thing is to obviously make sure that your coats aren't too thick, because again, you want to be making sure that Biab is setting 100% on the nail plate, because you don't want to be having any uncured Biab. Obviously it could look cured, but then obviously if you're adding quite thick amounts of Biab onto the nail, you can't 100% see, you can't always see what's underneath until you come to file it off. So you want to be making sure, like I say, that you're using the correct lamps, and that you are not applying your coats too thick, because you don't want to be risking any kind of reactions. Now obviously I know that the gel bottle and Glossify and all of these brands have been it's been thrown about allergies and stuff. and it is something that you obviously want to be making sure that you are on top of and you are keeping an eye on. And obviously, like I say, that is quite a staple thing that you need to be making sure you're doing, is not buying cheap lamps or anything like that, especially when it comes to Biab, because obviously it is a different product. It's not the same as gel, and you want to be making sure that it is curing 100%. Like I say, I used to kind of think that as long as it had a low heat mode that you would be okay. I've always had, I think the lamp that I had when I first started, which was included in my course, I don't think that was a branded lamp. But obviously I hadn't picked a system yet that I was going to be sticking solidly with. I was testing out different brands and stuff, and like I say, when I first started, Biab wasn't kind of a thing that I did. So I think when it's gel, it's obviously, it is a little bit more lenient, but with Biab, I would highly suggest that you get the matching lamp to whatever brand you're using, because yeah, like I say, you don't want to be buying, you know, cheap lamps or, you know, things that aren't going to be curing your products properly, because at the end of the day, that is definitely something that you need to be making sure that you're curing your products properly and kind of reducing the risks of any allergies or anything. So yeah, just make sure that you are investing in good products. Don't always think that you can buy things cheaply. Obviously, I know I have covered this in quite a few videos, is that like on Amazon and stuff, like I buy stuff from Amazon, but not when it comes to Biab or lamps or drills or anything like that. I'll solely use that for like gems or, you know, like little decals, just things like that you're not necessarily using as like a chemical. So yeah, just be careful what you're buying. Obviously, if you need to ask any opinions or anything, if you're not sure about what you're buying, if you're just starting out, literally just message me on Instagram and like send me some screenshots or whatever, what you're thinking of buying, and obviously I can help you and advise what I think, or yeah, just do some research into, you know, what brands you're picking and what you're using, because like I say, there's some dodgy stuff out there and you don't want to be using it on clients especially. So yeah, just keep an eye on that and you should be all good. So that is it, guys. That is everything covered for this video. Like I say, as always, if there's any questions that you have or anything that I've not covered, just literally message me and I will either answer your question or I can do a video on it. Or yeah, just don't sit and ponder about anything. Just literally message me and I will come back to you and let you know. I mean, I might not have the answer, but if I do, I'll try. Yeah, like I say, I'm always here to help, and yeah, I have to ask people for help all the time, and I message like other nail techs. I'm like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And yeah, just like have a chat about it, just see how you feel, and yeah, ask any questions that you need to ask. But yeah, I hope that you have found this video helpful. Like I say, if you've got to the end, thank you so much for watching. I will pop my Instagram and my YouTube down here. If you can subscribe, that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.